So in this class, we'll discuss about the Terraform output. So we have seen, right, in the previous examples, we have seen to generate the outputs and display it. So in which cases, first of things you have to identify in which cases you want this output to be used to get your result, right? In some cases, I'll give some examples, right? Whenever you create an instance, a small demo or small example I'm giving, whenever you just create an instance, what happens sometimes you need to get the IP address to connect into, right? Or you need that IP address to be used by some other applications or somewhere else. So what you need that output to be generated, right? And you have to see that output, how it is getting viewed, right? If you don't use this output function, output block, what will happen? You have to manually log into the console and check the public IP, right? Check the public IP. Also, sometimes what happens, when you create any user and you need to find out the user details and all, you have to log into the details and find it out. But using output, we can view whatever the attributes, whatever the resource informations you need. So what the Terraform output is, the Terraform output command is used to extract the value of an output variable from the state file. So whenever we execute or whenever we do Terraform apply, what will happen? It creates the state file after the executions happened. Okay, after the resource is created, it creates a Terraform state file, and that state file gets placed in the machine. And from there, it gets the complete details, whatever you want as part of your output. Okay, so here is a very small example. If you see it here, right? Let me just maximize a little bit here. So if you see here, what is written here, I have just used a resource block of IAM user, AWS IAM user, okay? And where I'm just going to create 3 IAM users using count index, okay? And then I'm going to display the ARN, of those 3 users. How will do that? So if I just go to the demo here, okay, and so guys, whatever we have used it here. So I have used 3 more things. You can see it here. You can see the 4 out of things, the normal out of normal 4 things I've used. Like one is the count index, the other one is the output block, and the other one is the splat expression. Okay, splat expression. So what will this splat expression will do? Splat expressions will do to give all the resources created as part of that particular block. It will display as part of that configuration file. It will display. Okay, so what is this for, guys? ARN. What is this ARN? Can anybody answer? I mean to say, what is this ARN? Here it is used in Terraform. What we call it is this part. If you're getting confused, let me simplify it.
That resource name?
Sir, attribute. So?
Resource name.
No, it's the attribute. So just whatever is that is attribute. We need that attribute to be displayed here, right? We need the attribute to be displayed here. Okay, so if you say like the ARN name output, we are just going to give this output here, the ARN, right? So based on the attribute, you might keep the name as it is. ARN. Okay, now let's execute these stuffs in 2 ways and see how it is behaving. Okay, now, so Terraform init is not equal, already initialized, but let's check whether it is not done or not. Terraform init, initializing the backend. What is this? Okay, so reusing the previous version. Okay, good. Now, what you can do, use Terraform plan. Okay. Just use the Terraform plan and check. So what you can see here, we have 3 resources are going to be created. 3 user ID. What is that? FinDev0, FinDev1, FinDev2. These are the 3 development users I'm going to create. But the output only be visible after we apply, because the attributes only can be found once the resource is created. Once the resource is created. So the resource is not yet created, so it is not displaying anything, right? Now let's do apply.
Hello, sir. Sir, the output is fetched from the state file.
It will fetch from the state file. It will fetch from the state file. Okay.
Means the information already there in the state file. Means user name or IP ID.
Okay, guys, can anybody answer his questions, whatever he's asking? And
Yeah, once when the first block is completed, the resource will be created and it will always update the state file. So state file should have those information, and the second block will read it from the state file. Correct?
Exactly. So whenever the resource is created, so Jyoti, please understand, the state file will not be there before, right? Once we apply, once your resource is created, then only the resource file will be created, then only the state file will be created. That means we have how many blocks are there? We have 2 blocks, right? 1 second, let me just open it again. We have 2 blocks here, right? One is resource block, another one is output block. So once the resource block is executed, what it will do? It will generate the state file. And the output block, what it will do? It will fetch the information from the state file. You got it? If there is no resource block is executed, there will be no output, because there will be no state files will be generated. Right? Got the point, Jyoti?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So let's execute and see what is the behavior. Okay. So Terraform apply. Yes. See, now the result, the output gave us like all the ARN informations, right? All the ARN informations. So what is the value? We got this value H. This is the ARN for all the 3 users, IAM users. Okay, now if I go and check the state file, here we have the state file is created, right? So here I have a question for you. After you create the Terraform file, when you execute Terraform init, Terraform plan, and Terraform apply, what are the kind of files it will create in that project folder? What are the file? What kind of files it will create in that project folder? So our project, what is our project folder? Output demo. So what sort of files, when you execute the Terraform init, plan, and apply, what sort of files it will create?
One backup file for the existing state.
Okay.
And update the state file.
Then what else, guys? See, what are the files are created? We have the log file, right? We have this Terraform hidden, these are the hidden files. These are hidden files. This Terraform file will contain the Terraform module information, and this will contain the provider version log, and this will contain the infrastructure, the resource state. This is the state file, the resource state file. But there is no backup file is yet created. Why? There should be a backup.
Rerun. This is the first time we run.
Exactly. So this is the first time we run. That's why there is no backup, because nothing is there to take backup, right? So if we execute the second time, modify something and creates a second time, it will take the backup of the existing state file and create a new one. So there will be one backup file also, right? So now, so let's open this Terraform state file and just see what it contains. See, what is the, it contains the value and the output as ARN with having all this. From this state file, it captures this particular value. Okay, now let's do some changes to the file. Let's do some quick changes. I have to proceed further. Okay, I'll not spend more time here. FinDev IAM, something like this IAM. Okay, and let's save it. So what we'll do, let's do Terraform plan and quickly execute it. Let's do Terraform apply. Let's do Terraform output. So guys, this time I did not do it. I did not apply, execute the Terraform apply, but still I can see these outputs. How? Normally, when we did Terraform plan first time, there was nothing, right? It was giving like known, will be known after the apply, known after apply. But how it is giving now?
Sir, from the state file.
Yes, from the existing state file, because that when we did first time, there was no state file created, right? That's why it was giving, there is nothing to display. As it is already a state file available, it is displaying the things from the state file itself. Okay, fine. Let me just do Terraform apply. Okay, now we can, what we can see here, the ARN name is these things. The ARN name, it gives us this. But what was the name we had given in the TF file? What was the name we gave in the TF file? Let's check.
FinDev IAM.
See, we gave the name as FinDev IAM, but it is displaying the name as FinDev. This is wrong, right? This is completely wrong.
But sir, it's showing 3 changed.
Where? No, that's okay. It shows here 3 modified, right?
Yes.
3
yes.
modified things is changed to FinDev IAM, but our output should show the existing, the updated one, right? Our output should show the updated one, right? So let's check the TF state file now. What is reflecting there? So if we do here now, we have a backup file. We have a backup file created. And this file contains the Terraform state, the current state file, right? Just open it. The ARN name gives this one. Can anybody tell why? If you understand, see, Terraform, a tool which to automate the AWS infrastructure or the cloud infrastructure, any cloud infrastructure, AWS, Azure, or GCP. Before you're doing automation, you should know the infrastructure very well. My question is, why are you displaying this name? Whether when we modify it to FinDev IAM. Let's see manually how it looks like. Okay, then you'll understand. That's why I always telling guys, whatever automation you are going to learn, make sure that you are familiar with the manual workaround, familiar with the system. Once you're familiar with the system, it will take very less time to do the automations. What is that? I did it wrong. Okay.
Sir, when we create the instance and we want to change the instance type, at the time when we change the from EC2 from T2 micro to T3 micro, it's automatically means change the instance type, means replace the instance type.
Yes,
but
but
in this,
but IAM case, why it did not happen? That's the question to understand.
Yes, sir.
So that is what it changed. It changed the instance type from T2 micro to 3 micro. The instance type, right? That is okay, that can be modifiable. But if a resource is already created and you are going to modify, there are many other things which will not change. That is one of the things is ARN. That will not change. We changed the name, but the ARN will still point to the modified name. The old ARN will be still there. That's why I just connected to show you how it looks like. Okay, so let's search for IAM. That's what you need to understand. The system first when you go for automation. Right, that's why I'm teaching you with the AWS things, like what are the things if I go clearly. So what happens here? We have 8 users, right? If I go to the IAM, so we have see the name is changed to FinDev IAM. The name has been changed 012, right? Let's open this one, right? We have this ARN. We have this ARN. But the ARN has been changed based on the name in the manually. But in Terraform, it has never changed. How we can change this one? My perspective was wrong. So it will get changed. The ARN will also get changed based on the name to point the new name. But why it did not change here in the Terraform automatically? Now we are clear.
No, in the UI also we are seeing the old name only, right? FinDev.
No. It's FinDev IAM. See?
Okay, FinDev IAM.
It's FinDev IAM. It's not FinDev. So we confirmed from here that ARN has also been changed. But here it is surprisingly that we have this old ARN displaying. Now, if I go and do Terraform apply again, let's see what is happening. Remove these things, it's not required. It will only display us the output. It will only display us the output, right? So what it says now, changes to outputs. That is what I want to show you. It gives us changes to outputs from dev to IAM dev. Yes.
So the first block pick this name FinDev IAM, right? Can you just go to the block from where it pick that FinDev IAM?
From the block, right? Sorry.
Can you go there?
Yeah, the top right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, from where it picked this new name, FinDev IAM.
From where it got this one, right?
The name.
Okay. Now, if we see it here, just read this output. What happens? You can apply this plan to save these new output values to the Terraform state file without changing any real infrastructure. Do you want to perform the action? What it says, you can apply this plan to save these new output values to the Terraform state. So what is the new output? You can see here, it is minus marking here, right? It is removing these 3 lines and adding these 3 new lines to the Terraform state file. Okay, so what we can do here now, if I go and check, see the output now it updated, right, with FinDev IAM. But if I go here and check the state file, right, vi Terraform, see it has now been updated. So why it is not updated in the first time? It was updated in the system, but why it did not update in the state file? It's because, see, when we modified, what it happened, it just modified the informations, it just modified the infrastructure, but it did not. Okay, let me show the logs. The first time when we executed, the first time, okay, this one we executed, right? First time we executed the Terraform apply. If you see these logs, right, what it says, it's only changes to the output, only changes the output, sorry, only changes to the name here, the IAM user modifications completed. But if you see the outputs here, we did not notice this output, right? It gives us this to this. So the why it is happened, before the state file gets updated, it captures the output from the existing state file and displayed. What happened? From the existing state file, it found that we have this ARN with this name. It gave minus to remove with this name because it automatically got it before the resource created. Normally what happens? We already have the state file. So all these informations, it got the state file, and which I believe is a bug, which I believe is a bug in Terraform, and that needs to be rectified, right? It should not display the name of same existing, because in our Terraform, but what we saw actually, when we saw the first time, the second time when we executed the state file, watch in a different, is the old name. When I did the second time Terraform apply, right, what happened? It updated the state file. It updated the state file, right? Let's do same example again and see how it behaves. If I do, let's give IAM something like IAM second, FinDev IAM second, something username like, and updated. Okay, now let's see and observe the state file clearly. So we have this state file. What happens currently? We have this ARM is called as IAM only. Okay, I added one more name is second, right? Now let's do Terraform plan and apply. No need to do plan. Let's do apply directly. Terraform apply. Okay. So what happens here? Now it's see. We changed to find dev IAM second, but it still is giving us the old ARN name. Why? The ARN has changed to already second 0 to 1 2, but it's still giving IAM and all this.
Is it reading from the backup file?
No, if I go and check the state file here, it will be still there, the old one. See, this is the state file, right? It would not have updated. Let's see. It will be still the old one. See, it contains still the old one. The
After
value,
some time it is changed, no? Than last time.
last time when it changed, when I applied second times. When I applied second times. Now if I do Terraform apply again, it will modify the state file. Let's see. That means when we execute or modify something, before it gets the resource created, all the existing details, it captures it out. Now, if you see, we did the Terraform apply, what happened? We got the exact whatever we have given.
Instead of running the second time, can we just say refresh? That will update it?
Exactly. That will do that will update also. No, I'm just showing with the demo. I'm not that if you refresh also, that will update. That will get the infrastructure, current infrastructure, current
what I'm saying is
state, and
we can make always a block, second block to refresh and the third block to collect it, so that it will become more professional. No? Right? Instead of running it second time, people ask like, why are you running it second time apply, because it is already completed, right?
Okay. So Terraform refresh, the command is the command line argument, right? What you have to do, you have to refresh it. Okay, let's see. Let's first do that one. Okay, let's do that one. Terraform set. So what we'll have, we have state file updated to new one, right? Let's do whatever. Sorry. What we'll do here, if I do output.tf and let's update to something like
third.
Something like third or second or third. Okay. In the parent third. Let's save it. Let's do quickly apply. Okay, still it gives second one, not giving third. Okay, now I don't want to apply it again. Whatever said to refresh it. So our state file will still contain the old one, second, right? Let's do the Terraform refresh. Terraform refresh. Remember guys, what this refresh command will do, you may get questions, okay? What this refresh command will do, it will refresh the current state and update that into the state file. Now we can see the output has come to third. And if we see the output state file, we'll get this particular one. That time I was showing you apply it for the demo to get the details. You have to apply the Terraform refresh if you're going to work in your company. Okay, this is the professional way you have to do it. We have Terraform refresh, Terraform import, upcoming slides. Okay, I'll just discuss on that. So when you, okay, there will be a questions like, if something have, okay, now what do we do here? Suppose, okay, there is a question. If something we have updated manually, if I do Terraform refresh, will it reflect in the state file or not?
I think we have the another import command for that.
Another import command, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. So we have this third 0, right? Let's rename this. I think we cannot rename this one, right? Permissions, EMUs.
Maybe you can add a tag or something here.
Yeah, I'll just update the tag. Okay, I'll just update. I'm just checking something what we can do with it here. Let's change the tag name, okay, or add a tag into here. I don't have any tags, right? Let's add a new tag here. Something like dev user. I provided name equal to dev user. Save changes. Right? I did only one modifications manually. So what will happen if I go to the state file here? Go to the tags. What it is? Nothing is there, right? In tags, there is nothing is there, right? Now, let's go back and to Terraform, refresh and see what is happening. Then, now let's open the state file. Go to tags. See, it has refreshed the current state and make into updated the state file. Current state of the infrastructure, current infrastructure state to the state file. What is the desired state? What is the desired state, guys?
Plan.
Without tag, right? The desired state is without tag. We have not given any tag, right? So you have to look around all these things. And once you do practice more and more in a different ways to play around, then you'll do. Just take any one resource which will not cause any harm, like creating users. User will not, if you create any users or modify it, it will not harm you anything. Just do practice in multiple different ways. Okay. Okay, we are just running out of time. Now let's move on to the different topic. Okay. Today, I'll discuss more about very important one, which is called provisioners. Which is called provisioners. What is provisioners? Provisions are used to execute scripts on a local or remote machine as part of resource creation or destruction. Just remember this particular line. What it says, provisioners are used to execute scripts on a local or remote machine as part of resource creation or destruction. Sometimes what you need, you have to execute or install some software during the resource creation. During the resource creations. My question is to you, how we can, without using Terraform, suppose in console you are creating an instance, how we can install or run a software during the boot time or during the instance creation? How?
In the user input, there is a field in the VM creation.
Exactly. So you have to remember all these things, guys. Okay. There will be one user data section, or we can say at a bootstrap script or user data section. In this user data section, you have to put the desired command, what you want to be executed during the instance creation. Okay. Similarly, using these provisioners in Terraform during the instance creation or resource creation, you can execute the commands. Okay. you can execute the scripts or commands. So it's very simple, guys. Okay, these are the things I'll show you. Don't worry in detail. So before moving into the demo, let's see theoretical to learn. Remember, there are two types of provisioners available. One is the two types of main types of providers. Two main types of provisioners. Two main types of provisioners. Okay, but there are many other provisioners are also available. I'll just go through each and everything. Okay. So Terraform has capability to turn provisioners both at the time of resource creation as well as destructions. We'll see how the provisions can be used during creations and during destructions. That's most important. And these two main types of provisioners are local-exec. Remember, local-exec, local-exec, and remote-exec. Local-exec and remote-exec. These two are most important things. That's why I have given it here. The local-exec provisioner allow us to invoke local executable after resource is created. So example, kind of like you need some private IP or public IP of a resource to be fetched and used by some other applications locally. A good example would be why we need the Ansible tool. There will be another DevOps tool which is called Ansible, right? Most of you might heard about that and have done practices in our previous classes. Ansible is a configuration management and continuous, basically being used for configuration management and continuous deployment. Also, it is act as a server or infrastructure automation tool, ISC tool. Also, most few companies they use ISC as ISC tool. Sometimes what happens, you need to put the IP addresses being collected from the Terraform and put it to as a feed as the input to the Ansible tool. Suppose an example. In that time, you can go with the local-exec. Okay, I have created a project on this. It's on my YouTube personal YouTube channel. I'll share this link. You can go see how the provisions can be used. Okay, both local as well as remote-exec. Now, see the provisioner, how it will be done actually. This provisioner local-exec, what happens here? We have to just write a provisioner block, and then we have to put in the local-exec. This is the local-exec is the name of the provisioner. Type of provisioner, local-exec, provisioner, local-exec, and what command you want to execute. This command will be executed on the resources which is created. On the resources which is created. Then we have this AWS underscore instance or private IP. Then we are redirecting this to the output. Local-exec execute on the local machine from where we are. This is a point to remember. Let me highlight it. Okay, this is a point you have to remember. What it says, local-exec execute on the local machine from where we are executing the Terraform. That is from your laptop or your desktop, right? So let's talk about and see this and talk about this remote-exec. So remote-exec provisioner allow us to invoke scripts directly on the remote server. It's very simple, guys. Right? The name itself says local, locally executed, remote, remote executed, right? Executable. So this provisioner allow us to invoke script directly on the remote server. This is a simple example here. Provisioner, remote-exec, and we have to give the inline. Why you have given inline? We have to execute, suppose, few commands here. So it's a very few commands like something which being used to install a software. Install a software, right? We have used this. Now, after using, when you use this provisional remote exec, you have to connect the server using the public IP of the resource which you created, and give the private key like the certificate which I will create it, right? Let's do a simple demo. First, about these two, local exec and remote exec, and then we'll move into to know about more into this provisioner. And this is very important. We'll try to finish the provision in today's class. There are many other provisioners available, like file provisioners, file upload provisioners, and lots of things are there. Okay, file provisioners and all. So we'll discuss more in details. So let's quickly go ahead and do this demo and see how it works. Okay, so I have a provisioner project, small things, whatever is there. Okay, let me just create it out for you. So let's go ahead and create a provisioner demo, something. Before that, let me copy the provider file, right? To provisioner demo. That is most provider.tfs for every time, right? CD provisioner demo. Now we have this provider file. Let's go and create a file. Something like demo.tf. Provision demo. Provisioner demo.tf. Okay. So let's go ahead and create a resource block. Okay, so let me go and get the resource block of the I'll get it from the in the tent, right? CD, or I can just do cat tent. Is it true, right? Yes. I need these things, right? Let's copy this particular part. Okay, vi. Suppose it's city.tf here, and so I put it here. What I did, created one AWS instance, name as my instance, image ID. Why I copied it? Because I need this AMI ID. I cannot remember all this alphanumerical big AMI ID. So I just copied it so that you can save some time to write it. So instance type instead of T3 micro, let's change it to T2 micro and fall into the pre-tier, right? I don't want to pay some docs here. So let's remove this to T2 by unnecessary. Good. And the key name is being used piecewise. This is the key name where what I will use to log in. Got it. Right. So where you have to add this provisioner block, that could be a question also, where they may ask you what is provisioner and type of provisioners, and where you have to add the provisioner, where you have to add the provisioners. Any question, guys? Sorry, any answers?
Sir, in the EC2 is in the instance section. Yeah.
The answer, what you're saying is correct, but you are not giving the correct answer. It's similar, means it's correct only, but you're not, the way of saying is not correct. What should be the answer? It should be in the resource block. Simple. The resource could be anything, right? It should be the resource block. It's not EC2 instance block. It should be resource block. What we are using? Resource block. And your provisioner should be in the resource block. Okay. So what we have to do? We have to add this. See, whenever we are just giving answer, no, be specific. And this will come when you do practice. Okay, when you do practice and give more interviews and go and talk about these things with your friend circle and discuss more on this, how it is and all. So these things, these terms, it will come in your mind when you do more practice. Okay. Yes, Jyoti, whatever says 100% correct, but he has to say like it is in the resource block. Okay, not in the EC2 block. Okay, fine. So now what we'll do it here, put the provisioner here. So I have to type one provisioner block here. Provisioner block. We have to write provisioner block here. Okay. So I completed this provisioner block now. Okay. Now what I have to do? Let's type what type of provisioner you want. What type of provisioner you want. Suppose I want first demo, let's see about the local-exec. Local underscore or hyphen, what? Jade?
Underscore.
Hyphen.
Yes, it will be hyphen. Local-exec. Just check it again, right? It is should be hyphen. Local-exec or remote-exec should be hyphen, right? The name is it's actually a provisioner block, local-exec. I'm going to use the local-exec. So when I use local-exec, you have to keep in your mind what you need. Actually. So suppose I need a public IP to fetch the public IP of these resources. To fetch the public IP of these resources. For that, I have to use a command module, command equal to, okay. So let's copy this one. Okay, so what we have used it here, let's remove me at this one. I don't need it. I'll just put it as public underscore IP. And here we have to use public IP. Okay. So here we have to use public IP. So what is this public IP, guys? Can anybody tell? What is this public IP? Jyoti?
Public IP.
Yeah.
Connect to that machine's IP address, right? Connect via this
No,
machine IP address.
yeah. What is the term? What we call this one?
That instance, the public IP?
No, that's okay. It will give the instance public IP, but what we call that particular part? We call it as attribute, right? This is the attribute. So we have to use the public IP attribute to fetch the public IP. Suppose you have to use the ARN, then it will fetch the ARN. So this attribute, which attribute this one? Which attribute this one? So you have to remember all these things, okay? You have to remember all these things. Otherwise, it will not work. See, because we are using the AWS instance resource, right? The attribute should be this AWS underscore instance. What do we need? We need the public IP of AWS underscore instance, public IP of this resource, of this instance. So we have to use the attribute of this resource. The public IP is the attribute, right? And if you go the attribute sections of this AWS underscore instance, okay, let's go to the attribute reference here. And we have this public underscore IP, see, public underscore IP, which gives the public IP address. If you need the private IP, you have to give the private underscore IP. If you need the instance state, what is the state of the instance, whether it is running or it is whatever you want, right? Let's do the example here. So remember, guys, what you want to fetch, how you have to write based on this. See, we are getting the AWS underscore instance. What is this? The resource, type of resource is AWS underscore instance. And what is this? The resource name, which is incorrect here. The resource name is incorrect. Why? Because here the resource name I have given as my instance, and here as I copied, it is given as instance-1. So I have to modify this. First, how you have to write? Instance type, instance name, sorry, resource type, resource name, and the attribute, right? Let me just modify this. It will be my instance. It will be my instance, right? Now let's go ahead, execute it. What I'll do, quickly, I'll do Terraform init. Okay, now let's do Terraform plan. Terraform plan. Okay, want to add, right? So this file will be created after we apply it, right? So let's go ahead and do Terraform apply. Terraform apply. Sorry, what I did, spelling mistake. Auto output. Okay. Now, good. One is getting added, or one infrastructure or one resource is going to create it. Just wait for a few seconds. So what it will do, it will generate it will create the resource and fetch the IP address of the EC2 instances of that resource, and then keep it in a file locally, right? It's just hold on. Yeah, it's done now. So what it says, you can see in this log itself, it says AWS underscore instance and executing this, and what it says, executing echo and redirecting this to public IP.txt. Got it? Now, this file will be in this folder. See, we have this public IP.txt, and it will definitely contain the public IP of the server. Okay, now let's little modify this file. EC2, and instead of public IP, let me add one file is called, let's add a new attribute. Okay, let's add a new attribute. Suppose I want what is the state of the instance. Okay, let's replace with the attribute instance underscore state globally. Public underscore IP instance underscore state globally. Okay, I updated it. So the attribute I used it here, instance underscore state, right? Now let's go ahead and update it. Let's do apply directly. What it says, No changes, your infrastructure matches the configuration. Now, if I see it here, nothing is created. Nothing is created. Now, guys, can you tell me the difference? What is the difference of the output with the local exec? Can anyone tell what is the difference between this output and local exec provisioner?
I think here the output is showing public_IP text, but it should be
No. This is the old one. This is the old one. This is when we executed the first time that was created, but the second time it did not create.
okay.
Why? That's my question, is did not create. We'll see, we'll come to why it is not created. Before that, I'm just asking, we just completed the output block, right? Output block. In output block, what we are getting, we are fetching the current outputs, right? We are fetching the output. Okay, now in this one, let's add one output block. Let's add one output block here. Okay, so I'll just add output.
So here this provisioner did not do anything, because in the previous output sample also we have seen when there is nothing to create, a new resource is not created, then output did not print any latest value, right? So is the provisioner behave the same because the instance is already there?
Okay, so what is the main difference actually? The output was getting the informations from the state file. But this local exec, where this command will be executed?
On the new instance that is created, right?
Exactly.
So if it is not creating, it's not doing.
Exactly. That is what the answer is. The output was fetching the records from the state file, which is locally available, just getting the records from the state file. But the local exec provisioner, the name provisioner itself, once you provision something, then on that resources, on that machine or that resources, it will get the details or execute the details, right? That's why when we execute that the next time, by changing the instance state, it did not create or did not display anything because we did not provision anything. We did not provision anything. This particular resource things already being created. We cannot connect to this local exec, right? We cannot connect into the once. We cannot connect to the machine. So that's why it did not display anything. Okay, now just write something in the output. Okay, and I'll just type the value equal to what I need, the AWS instance dot, sorry, my instance dot. So suppose I need the instance state. Right, so it should be in double quote, right? Let's see whether it will be in double quote. Yeah. Save it. What was that? It will not work if I give double quote, sorry. this is you have to do. If I just type double quote here, what will happen, guys? One example we had seen it. What it will display? Now tell me what it will display.
What it already means it's written already. This value only show means AWS underscore instance the dot my instance. These things only say only show.
Exactly. So what it will show? It will show only this as a text, as a string. This will display this value, but not the output of this value. Okay. So let's remove this one. Let's remove. Sorry. Let's remove this one. Okay. Now let's save this and do Terraform. Apply. Do Terraform. Apply. See what the output is now giving us. It's running. It's running. So from where it got this output?
From the state file.
Exactly, from the state file. But our local exit did not give us anything because this is a runtime when the resources will be created, provisioned, that time only executed. So now we are clear with the local exit. Now let's go ahead and do a demo on the remote exit. Okay. So let's comment it out. This particular part, let's do a comment out. Okay. Let's do a comment out. Okay. What I'll do, I'll use the remote exit. I'll use the remote exit. Let me copy this particular block. Okay. So what I did it here. What I did it here. And it here also something I missed also, right? I missed one more polyverses. Okay, fine. So what will happen? Okay, what will happen here? I use the provisioner remote exec, remote-exec. And what I'm going to do, I'm going executing this piece of code inlinely on the remote server. When the server will provision, it will create, right? Before that, sorry. Let me destroy it. No? I'll get a new one, right? If you don't destroy Terraform, destroy. Just wait for a few seconds, let it be destroyed, then we will use remote.
Sir, suppose we already created one instance and we want to install some application. For that, we cannot use the Terraform. Hello.
Yeah, sorry, Jyoti, I could not hear you properly. Can you tell me again?
Sir, suppose we already created instance through Terraform, and we want to install one of the application on that instance. For that, we cannot use the Terraform.
How? No, you cannot use that.
For that, we use the Ansible.
Ansible.
Okay.
Ansible. Once the server is provisioned, and if you have already server provisioned created and you want to modify something in the server like configuration management or dev deployment or do something, you can go with the Ansible tool.
Okay.
Okay. Now what we can do here, let's the server things is destroyed, right? Let's go ahead and add one more provisioner here quickly, and we'll do the provisioner is called remote-exec provisioner. Okay, remote-exec provisioner. I just commented out this local exec, and we have this one. So what is given here, guys? And we have this inline, but I don't want this to be executed. So let's delete this particular things. Okay, and what I'll do here, instead of that, I can use sudo. In Nginx, I'm not going to tell you work on this. Let's work on our regular one, the HTTPD one, right? Sudo yum install HTTPD. Okay, and systemctl start.
Sir, -y.
It's not required. If you, but still, if you give, it's good actually. Yeah, I'll give it. Thank you. HTTPD. I said right. It's good. So now what do I did? I simply installed this server, and then after that, I'm starting the service here. Got it? Right? Now what I can do? I can just simply put another line here to create one index file also. How I can do? Sudo. I just typed the echo command here, right? Echo to var www/html, right? /index.html. Let me finish it out. Then here, what I will just want to put it here, kind of thing like HTML. Right. So let me quickly copy these things and put it here. Give me a second to type it out. Okay. One more line. So let's quickly go here and h1 tag. Inside this h1 tag, I'll just close another for h1 here. Okay, and now let's give a line here. Got it? Done. So lots of things need to be let's do here. Fine. I think it's a double quotes here. It will break the code. Now I don't. Let's remove this unnecessary. It will stop. Open. Let's quickly finish it, and then I'll just show you in our next example. This one. Fine. Let's save it. So, okay, before executing it, what I did it here, I just installed the software. After that, to install this software, what I need, we need to have the connection to establish. So in this connection to establish, what I need, the type of protocol, what type, how you want to connect using SSH. And what is the host? I'm giving it a public IP. So what is the self? Means the self block we are into the resource block, right? The self means it will fetch the same resource block attribute public IP. Got it? And the user, EC2 user, you know that Amazon Linux I'm going to use. So this is Amazon Linux AMI, right? So EC2 user. And the private key file, you have to give the key file name, the certificate file name. Okay. So for that, I have a certificate file. What is that used? PSY, right? So let me just rename this to. I give the appropriate path. So let me come out. So cd It is user Ranjit Singh.
This PEM file should be there inside the remote host server.
No, I'll tell you. Okay, I'll tell you. How in the remote it will find it out. We are connecting from the local machine, right? This connection will establish from the local machine, right? So whatever the name you are going to give it here, the same certificate you should give it here. So what will happen? Once we create this one, we should have downloaded this file and execute it here. I'll show you, we have complete example and complete details how we'll download this file also. That also I'll show you, don't worry, okay? I'll show you, that's good questions actually. Let me just finish it out here. Let me put complete details here. Sorry, it was in the downloads folder, I think. Download or downloads? Let's verify, otherwise it will fail again. CD downloads, okay, yes. Downloads folder. Got it? So we need this certificate file to connect this server and install this particular subchart, right? And what I need, let's fetch out the public IP so that we can let's keep the public underscore. Done. Let's see. We are into the correct folder. Let's execute Terraform plan. Good.
We need to ensure that port 22 is opened from the console, right? Before doing that remote SSH execution.
Exactly. So that's a good question. Here, another question to you. What will happen if you create an instance having a default security group? What is the default nature? If you are creating a Linux machine, the question, listen to the question carefully. If you create a Linux machine, Linux instance, and you select a default security group, what will be the security group it will contain? What port will be whitelisted? By default?
By default, it's port 22 will whitelist.
Yes. So by default, if you give a security group or whitelisted or not, by default, it will be 22. So what is the purpose in our case? We need the SSH protocol to be used to connect. So SSH will already by default will get whitelisted as part of the default instance creation, right? So we don't have to worry about it. But yes, indeed, you asked a very good questions. I think Sarvan or Muthu, whoever, it's very good question you guys asked, because that you have to make sure that that particular port is whitelisted. And for that, what resource you have to use?
It's a group resource.
Yes. So you have to add another resources, the security group, to whitelist the port. What port you want to use it, you have to use the security group resource block to create. That is how you have to think about all these things and put together and create a complete infrastructure. Don't you think like it is very simple, and as I said, you have to create only one resources. Whatever I'm doing, it's very simple. It's only we are learning. Very few we have learned so far. And while learning, we are just learning the few resources and few steps only, one steps and all. But when you put together everything and going to create good infrastructure, going to create a project, you have to think about with all aspects, with all resources, how you have to put together, how you have to join together, how you have to architecting those things. That is most important, the designing part, right? I have a good video. If you want to see now also, you can view it. That is in my YouTube channel. I have put as a 3-tier architecture. Okay, put it as my YouTube channel. Just go to Ranjit Swai and you will find it out. So here you'll see this particular, if I go to this content, Terraform project, right? The current implemented 3-tier architecture. Everything you'll find it over here. Everything you'll find over. Recently, I just upload this one. You'll find everything there. Okay, and we have to see how this is combined together. And there are many files actually. Okay, there are many, and the same GitHub link will be available in my GitHub page also. Okay. Just watch this video once and see how it is being. I know this is not the because we have learned the things so far, everything which you can actually find it out easy to know. Okay. Okay. Now we are running out of time. Let's move on and finish this demo. And I have another class also. Let's quickly go this one. Okay. Now let's do this Terraform apply. Or to approve. Okay. So what it will do, it will create and install the Apache HTTP server. HTTP server. Okay. So just wait for a few seconds and see. It will be created. Okay. So what it does, it's connecting the server. It's connecting to the remote host via SSH. Username is EC2, and it is just trying to connect the server. Okay. Just wait for a few seconds. If everything is correct as per the things, it will go through. Okay, and we work. It's still not able to connect. It's still trying to connect. It is 1 minute 10 seconds already elapsed, but still trying to connect. Let's check. I might have missed something which might be causing the problem. It could not be getting, or I should have kept in this current project folder. I have given the absolute path, right? That could be the reason it's not able to find the key. So let's take one more time to fetch it, right? Just a second, hold on. So it's taking 2 minutes of time now, Just wait for a few more seconds if it is okay, or else we'll terminate it. 2 minutes, 50 seconds. Let's terminate this. Control C. So I just terminated it. Okay. Now what happened? Though I have terminated, the resource block would have created already. Okay. Only be interrupted in the provisioner block. In the provisioner block. Okay. Now, if I just go ahead and check the resources here, we'll see that it would have created now. Just hold for a few seconds. If you go and check it here, go to the instances. See, it's created and running. It has created the resources. It has created the resources. However, it would not able to execute the remote exec provisioner, right? Let's fix it out quickly. And we have given the remote exec, and we have given this particular connections. We have this self that public EC2 user, and this file we have given the complete path from where it is not able to pick it up, right? From where it is not able to pick it up. Let's copy this file to the project folder, this project folder. Okay, so I can give downloads. But I copy this certificate file here. Okay, now let's modify this file. So I gave it as the way it's written here. So the certificate name directly in this current directory. Okay, let's check whether it will work or not. Okay. Now, what I can do, first of all, let me destroy it, right? Terraform, because it is already created and it will not execute the provisioner block anymore. Terraform destroy. Terraform destroy. Good, it has now destroyed. Let's clear it out and do Terraform. Terraform apply. Now it's creating the EC2 instance, creating the resource. And once the EC2 instance is created, then it will execute, if everything fine again, it will execute the stuff, right? So wait for a few seconds. It's still creating, 20 seconds. Let's check whether it has created the server or not. Okay. Yeah, the server is getting created now, right? The server is getting created and it is initializing. Just wait for a few seconds. Still 1 minute 40 seconds has gone and still it is creating. 1 minute 50 seconds. Something of the remote-exec is not working. It's not able to connect with. Okay, guys, I think it's taking more time. Something I have missed
Sir,
somewhere.
Sir, could you please once again show the TF file?
Yeah, this is the thing.
Sir, I think dollar is not required.
This particular dollar.
Yes, sir.
So we can give directly here.
Yes, sir. Dollar and Collie versus.
Direct file. Okay.
Yes.
Maybe that could be the reason. Okay, fine. So how you'll find it out? Let me quickly show you these things. If I go to the Terraform provisioner, right? If I go to the provisioner here, Terraform provisioner, search for Terraform provisioner, Terraform provisioner. Go to the provisioner sections of this, and here you'll see how we can use this remote-exec and all. Okay, declaring provisioner file and remote-exec. Go to the remote-exec and you'll see how we can execute this remote-exec. Okay, and Puppet connections self.public, and it has been used as root password. That is fine. And inline script arguments, that's fine. Inline provision file. Okay, it's not given here something. The provisioner without a resource, provisioner connections, connection block. Okay, in this connection block. Okay, dollar you can pass, not a problem. Here is given, right? Dollar you can pass. Type password script, and it is private key. Okay, and the content of the password is required. Else we can use certificate also. When signed CA certificate, this is not signed CA certificate, so you have to use private key. And what else? These are the connection details, right? Insecure. Something we are missing. Something I think I'm missing here. So Jyoti, dollars would be fine, not a problem. Here you can see being used dollar also, right? So similar, we have used the dollar here also, not a problem. Okay, guys, so that's all maybe for today's class. Let's see, I'll just try to find it out what caused the problem, why it is not going through. Then in our next class, then we'll see. And this is a task for you guys, just at home, do the same thing, whatever we have done, and see how it is working. Okay, see you guys, bye.